Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. Today's video is going to be about the WillPower Cup. WillPower Cup is known for being one of the most fan favorite cups. It's actually not the best, also not the worst, but it's like, let's say if 5 is average, 10 is best. WillPower Cup is like 8 out of 10 like type of a cup. It's a cup that people do enjoy, generally because they always ban the God of War, which is a charmer, but somehow they let Haterna, which is another charmer, to slip and not get banned. Also, they banned Zorua and the first evolution of Zorua, or like the second evolution. They banned both evolution of that Pokemon, which mean it looks like a cup that they spent some time into designing. What's WillPower Cup? It's dark, fighting, psychic. Psychic beat fighting, fighting beat dark, dark beat psychic. It looks like an RPS, but the thing about this cup, like there are so many Pokemons that if you look at them, they are like, let's say, psychic, but they can beat the dark. As an example, the Galarian Rapidash, which is the best safe swap in this cup, also known as the best closer, also known as the best lead, is a psychic that can beat the fighters and can beat the dark. And there is also, as an example, Annihilate, which is a fighter that beat the fighters, beat the dark, and hit the psychic with super effective damage with his Rage Fist. So, and then there is a Pokemon like Claydol, which taken super effective, which does neutral to everything, and he is known for being one of the best Pokemons in this cup because you delivered so much neutral damage, and you have Ice Beam, you have Scorching Sand, and you have Rock Tomb to debuff your opponent to the Oblivion. So what is WillPower Cup? From the PvP poke ranking, we can see that Ponyard this time is actually number 1, followed by Metang and Shadow Metang and Morcrow, and then Claydol. Then there is Annihilate, Shadow Annihilate, Mandibuzz, Moltres, Shadow Moltres, Sableye, Shadow Sableye, Rapidash, Guzzlord. Now, Guzzlord is kind of an RPSC in this cup because it doesn't. It's supposed to be the dark that beats other darks, but to be honest, in this meta, it's actually Ponyard is the dark that beats other dark because it has Fury Cutter and X Scissor, as far as I'm aware. Yes, I just double checked. So that's what makes it one of the best, because it's a dark that destroys the dark and destroys the psychic, and it's a steel subtyping, which make it even worse. So it's a dark that can beat the fairies as well. That's how good this Pokemon is. And then you have Hatirna, which is a charmer that you can 2 shield through so many Pokemons. Last time, I think people were expecting it to get banned because it's literally same typing as Gardevoir. It's a charmer with psychic and fairy type, and has more annoying charge moves than even God of War, because this thing has triple axle, which means if you boost your damage, you actually, if you use triple axle, you're just going to boost your charm damage, so you're going to end up sweeping if you just 2 shield it. There is Metang this time, which is going to have a ward with the charmer, so I think Metang plays a crucial role in this cup, because this time we have a solid counter to the charmers, and also it does neutral damage to the Metang. They do neutral damage to each other's because, you know, steel resist bug, psychic takes super effective, he'll steel resist bug, dark takes super effective, so they technically do neutral damage, except that this Pokemon is a spammier, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, that Gyroball Psyshock. Well, this thing has a neutral charge move. This thing has only resisted charge moves to hit them the chest piece with. Pokemons like Morpeko, I think, will fall off. Like last meta, they were everywhere. Like Morpeko was everywhere. Now it's gonna fall off. At least for the day one, until people maybe stop using the steel types. And then if they stop using the steel types, then Morcrow is going to be everywhere again. Is that all the Pokemons? No, technically you could use Lugia, you could use Latios. That's Latias and Latios both. Scrafty is an option. Volpe is an option. This Pokemon is an option. It's actually a charmer. There is Lucario in this cup, by the way, so don't sleep on that. And remember that Lucario, now you run the move that we got recently. You don't run counter. It's not upper hand. Force spam. Yeah, it's force spam. So what people will be running in this cup? I would say if it's up to me, I think the best 3 Pokemons are actually Ponyard, Morcrow, and Primeape as a third to cover them. So use Ponyard as like your best lead, and then you have Morcrow with Pick, Foul Play, and Drill Pick. On paper, Murkrow has the best potential in this cup, except that it doesn't have enough stats to fight. So in those long type of fights, Murkrow is going to fail you, and this team is kind of too frail. So this is supposed to be the top PvPoke team. Like if you go to PvPoke, choose Barnyard, it's going to suggest Primeape and Murkrow as the other two. But to be honest, this team struggles a lot into something like Galarian Rapidash, because Galarian Rapidash, you cannot be weak to this Pokemon. So how can we fix the Galarian Rapidash team? Is literally you add a Metang, because remember Metang has Fairy Cutter, which is a neutral, you take Charm, which is resist, you take Fairy Wind, which is resisted, and then you have Psyshock and Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball can almost one-hit KO the Rapidash, because it's not a tanky Pokemon. Now, Murkrow again is kind of the weakest spot on this team. So if you want to have something that can, last longer, there is Air Slash Mandibuzz, which is actually a huge Pokemon in this cup, and people always end up running Mandibuzz in this cup because it's a Pokemon that is capable of doing so much neutral damage. And I think people will end up using Mandibuzz with Metang together, like the longer this cup lasts, because of the fact that they cover each other as well, and then you have Metang to do literally neutral damage to everything with decent resistances by having a Steel subtype. Now, would you run Shadow Metang or non-Shadow? That's something that people will have to figure out once they play this cup, because to be honest, like both have their advantages and disadvantages. Both they have their like strength and weaknesses, because like you run Metang because it's bulk, it's slightly tanky. I mean, by having Steel type, so you don't want to lose that tankiness by having Shadow, especially when the chest piece is required to be level 50 and good IV. Otherwise, it won't last long in the fight. So what is a good team? What will you be running, Yasser? I mean, I'm gonna run my old team, which is I used to run last time we had this cup, which was Claydol and Moltres. I ran those two together, and I think my third was Galarian Rapidash, except that this time I'm actually thinking of running Annihilate, Shadow, and just to shield the Annihilate, and just use a Claydol in the lead to try to get a neutral matchup with like soft lose and then farm down with Annihilate, and then just try to counter down everything after by shielding it. Except that it might not work, because remember there is Charmers in this cup, so you don't wanna end up in a situation where like you're gonna just get charmed down. There is also Rapidash, which is also so freaking annoying to play against. As far as the third, there is Moltres as an option, but I think Mandibuzz is just a straight better. Moltres is just feels better to use because it does well damage, while like Mandibuzz is so tanky and doesn't dish that much damage. And that will move us into the last team that we have here, which is Rapidash with Moltres core. Those technically makes the perfect core in this cup. And the third is up to you, and I have Drapion below just to remind you that you can run Ice Fang Drapion in this cup, which does super effective to Mandibuzz, does super effective to Claydol, and those two will be the most common Pokemons the longer the cup will go. So that's a reminder that actually you can run Ice Fang Drapion in this cup, and it's not just good, it's too freaking good in this cup. So yeah, that's as far as all you need to know about Willpower Cup. I try to have it straightforward because this cup is not that much of a creative cup. I mean, it's a good cup, but you will face the same three Pokemons, but in a different order. Some people will try to run Double Charm. There is like a 2-3 dark Pokemons that learn a Charm, and there is also Haterna. And yeah, so expect that. So I think that's why we need to have a Steel type Pokemon. You don't want to lose to Charmers. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like the content, make sure to leave a like button to the channel. Make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.